Welcome to the Dear Brother podcast, my friends. I always end the show with a saying. I always end the show saying, yesterday was history and tomorrow's a mystery. All we have is right now. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do about it? You'll hear me end every single show with that. It's because I want to wake us up to, sometimes we worry so much about what's gonna happen tomorrow. What's gonna happen down the road. I know it's been like that for me. As a public speaker, as an author, it's always been, man, what am I going to do? How can I show my gift? My dreams and my visions, right? And it's nothing wrong with having dreams and visions. But what I found, man, is sometimes with all our dreams and our visions, what happens is we forget to appreciate the very moment we're in. Some of us have missed the moment, missed the times, and you can't get that back. Out of all the resources in the world, man, you can't get time is the only one you can't get back. And I think sometimes we miss our moments. We miss the strength of our moments because we're either worried about yesterday, what we didn't do, who we offended, what mistake we made. Sometimes we get so stuck in the past that we feel like we are the mistake we made and we can't find our way through. But I want to share something with you today, man, and I think will help us really think through this. Again, the saying is yesterday is history and tomorrow's a mystery. All we have is right now. What you going to do about it? Number one, I want to talk about the illusion of time. The illusion of time. The past is unchangeable. The past is unchangeable. Can I learn from the past? Absolutely. We can learn from our past mistakes. We can learn from the things we didn't do so right. But the past is unchangeable. You can't change the past. The future is unpredictable. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You don't. And sometimes we say that in a negative form, man. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. But tomorrow might bring something great. Tomorrow might bring the greatest dream you ever had to pass. But you don't know. It's unpredictable. The only true power we really have, man, is in the present. That's the only power you have. And that's the one you got to pay attention to the most. The power you have right now is what you have right now. Seriously. Think about it, man. You know how much you would live in less stress if you really, really determined that today is all I have. You would love more. You would invest more. Your children, your spouse, your girl, your business, whatever it is that you are intentional about, you would do so much more in it if you were just worried about right now. It would be less stress, right? So every choice you make, man, you got to realize this. Every choice you make today, it determines where you'll be tomorrow. That's why today is important, right? Because I can't go in tomorrow and decide the choices I'm going to make tomorrow, but I can decide what I'm going to do today, and it affects my tomorrow. It absolutely affects my tomorrow. So what are you going to do today that's important to you? What are you going to do today that you haven't done so well or so much of? What are you going to do today that's been on your mind that you've been procrastinating about, right? Because decisions decide. You understand? Decisions decide. Decisions shape your destiny. Every decision you make. And it's not always the big decisions. It's the small decisions. How am I going to act today? How am I going to respond to this thing? If I feel disrespected or I feel like something, it happens at work today. See what I'm saying? Something might happen at work today. Something might happen on your way to work today. The question is how I'm going to handle it. Yesterday, man, I had an opportunity to do the wrong thing. I absolutely did. And I chose not to. I took a pause in the moment. That's why I talk to y'all a lot about pace. I talk to y'all a lot about pace, man, because pace, if you slow the pace down, you make better decisions. Because you got to understand, again, every choice you make today determines where you will be tomorrow. So be intentional about your actions. Don't just move. Don't just say, think fast. No, man. As a man, as a grown man, because that's what the Dear Brother podcast is for. Grown men who want to grow more, right? It's about everything we think about determines where you got to go. So slowing down your pace. Decide how you're going to respond. Because that's how men stay in power. Power is not with the weapon. Power is not with the yelling and the screaming. The power of a man is with his mind. So never forget that. Decisions decide. Also, man, the mind and the moment. See, you got to think about it. You got a mind and you got the moment. Sometimes it's your mind versus the moment. What you talking about, Christian? I'm talking about overthinking. I'm talking about how overthinking robs us of action. You ever sit somewhere and you think and you think and you think? And then some of y'all going to say, man, you just told us to pace ourselves and think. Yeah. But there's also such thing as overthinking. You can overthink to the point where you don't even take action, right? As a man, should you know, well, this move might lead to this move might lead to that? Yes, you should always be in front of the situation. But overthinking has robbed you of action. And some of y'all have been there. You've been there where overthinking robbed you of action. Some things you wish you did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but you overthought it and you never moved in it. And now some of us, and I've been there, and I'm some of you brothers have too, where you look and say, man, if I had just did that, if I had started that when I thought about it, I'd have got somewhere with it. Listen, learn to quiet the distractions in your life and focus on what you can control right now. You hear me? There's always distractions. There's always some voice. You know, it's like the old cartoons where you had the evil thing on this side and the angel on this side. It's always something to distract you, always something to take you off, whether you feel like you're losing time or not going fast enough. See, it's that pace. But don't overthink that. It robs you of the actions. All you have is right now. Another thing, man, is you got to remember gratitude. Gratitude for the moment, man. And you know what gratitude creates? Gratitude creates growth. It really does. When you appreciate the present, when you appreciate the present, you can maximize the present. You hear me? When you appreciate the present, you can maximize the present. See, but when you're thinking about tomorrow or thinking about yesterday's mistakes and tomorrow's hopes, you rob yourself of maximizing the moments you're in right now. You hear me? I think some of our relationships will be better if we did that. Sometimes we get too stuck on what happened yesterday in our relationship, or we're worried about what's going to happen in the future. And right there in that relationship, you maximize that moment. Give that hug, give that kiss that you're too pissed off to give, man. You see, right? I'm mad right now. I just want, man, look, break out of that shell, man, so you can live at your fullest potential. And you can squeeze the juice out of life as you should. Listen, the grateful mind sees opportunity. The grateful mind sees opportunity. Where others see obstacles, you see opportunities. See, that's what the grateful mind does. So be grateful, bro. Be grateful. You know, another important thing, man, is the urgency of right now. The urgency of right now. Again, not yesterday. The urgency of right now. That's important, right? Because procrastination kills progress. Procrastination kills progress. Listen, there was a time where back in July, I think I started this podcast. I sat here and I had my computer equipment, I had everything, and I was sitting there thinking, what would I say? You know, what am I going to say? Will the brothers accept me? Will they enjoy the podcast? You know, I was thinking so much that I never started the podcast. It took me a month sitting there thinking. It took me a month. And then all of a sudden I went back there and I wasn't worried about lights. I wasn't worried about cameras in action, man. I was worried about just saying something. Right? And there were days where I thought, man, this podcast sucked, but I said something, right? I said something. And I remember getting my first subscriber and I was so happy. And then I remember getting 10 and I was so happy. I remember getting 30, I was so happy. I hit 50 and I had made it. And now here we are. I think we might be 50 away from 1,500 subscribers, man. In fact, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right now. Become a part of this community. It's the Dear Brother Podcast where grown men want to grow more. Right? Hit that like button. Again, hit that subscribe button. Become part of the community, man. Help us grow. We want to get to 2,500 subscribers, then on to 5,000. Not for my sake, but brothers, we need a community where we can talk straight. We don't have to lie about where we are. We don't have to front or put a tough act on. It's always a community where you can come, where real men talk about real things, man, and we can discuss, right? See, this is the thing. If it matters to you, start today. If building a relationship with your kids matters to you, start today. If rebuilding your marriage matters to you, start today. If that company you want to build matters, start today. If you want to start a podcast, start today. And it doesn't have to be huge. Just small steps, man. Small steps compound into great achievements. You hear me? Small steps compound into great achievements. It's the small steps. And not only is it small steps, man, then you got to celebrate the small victories. Right? It's a victory because you weren't doing it yesterday. It's a victory. You won. You won today, man. You won today just by starting. You won just by starting, man. So I want to say I'm proud of you. I love you. You matter to me. Just make sure you matter to you. Listen, no fear, no shame, no compromise. That's the way you want to walk. Not fear, not fearful. Not fearful of what will come. I'm fearful of what I won't become, right? No shame, not carrying the past on your back saying, man, I don't deserve a future because of my past. You're not the mistakes you made, bro. And no compromise. Don't compromise with your weakness when your strength is calling you forward. So I'll end the show like I always end it. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. You got right now. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do about it? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, man. Become part of the community. I love you, man. Stand tall today. Be brilliant today, because you absolutely are. And I want to end it with this. I'm a Philly guy. Go Birds. We won the Super Bowl. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.